Welcome in, everybody, to Monday Night Tailgate. I'm your host, Tyler Knaeble, at PPR Tyler on Twitter. And today we're going to be talking Week 7 NFL takeaways, plus a Monday Night Football betting guide for what is shaping up to be a great game. Vikings, Niners. Let's dive right into it. We are back. It is Monday Night Tailgate time, and I'm just excited to dive into some Week 7 NFL takeaways because there was a lot that happened in Week 7, and some players that you should be. This isn't. Sometimes we'll come on here. It's buys and sells. It's pretty much all buys today. So I'm excited to just dive into who's going to be a contributor for you down late in the season. So, but let's start with America's favorite segment. I changed the name from I should at least mention it starting lineup to quick take starting lineup. Feels a lot more SEO friendly. So quick take starting lineup for quarterbacks. 4 total touchdowns for Gardner Minshew. Definitely worth a roster spot if you're a QB needy team, super flex, need a QB3, or you got maybe you're just decimated by buys. Gardner Minshew, sneaky buy. So that's great for Gardner. Love to see. I remember when I actually Gardner Minshew right there, jersey right there. I remember when I first heard of Gardner Minshew, I actually bought that jersey, I think maybe like 3 hours after his first NFL start. If you remember that, forget who he beat, but he had a really good game, and they either beat or they beat a good team, but I can't remember. I think it was the Chiefs. Anyways, running backs. We were right about Alvin Kamara. A couple weeks ago, we came on this show and said, Alvin Kamara, you need to go buy him. The volume is there, and oh my goodness, has that held true. Even with Jamal Williams coming back, 153 total yards and 12 catches. Volume king for Alvin Kamara. Second running back slot, we got Jahmyr Gibbs' season is here, at least while Montgomery is out. He had 126 total yards and a touchdown with 9 catches, almost like Alvin Kamara light. And he's probably going to stay in the pass catching role. We know this, but as soon as Dave Montgomery comes back, it's definitely going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, not Jahmyr Gibbs season. So as long as Montgomery's out, Gibbs season. Montgomery comes back, not Gibbs season. But nice to see that the talent flash against the Ravens, who are a pretty good team, even though he scored that touchdown late in the game when they're getting pummeled. Doesn't matter. All right, receiver slot. Puka Nacua is here to stay. I think in almost in every past couple weeks, and every player that I tell you to buy, I tell you to trade Puka Nacua for that player. I'm gonna stop doing that because he had an outstanding day. So the Cooper Kupp only finished 2 catches, and I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things where it might be a 1A, 1B situation. If we got to the end of the season and Puka Nacua is still putting up the numbers that he put up yesterday, like every other week, every 3 weeks, he's a 1B player. He could literally be it sounds crazy to say, but a T. Higgins type of guy where he's just like the number 2 away from an elite wide receiver. So we'll see how the Puka stats come in the coming weeks. But the second wide receiver, Mike Evans, continues to show that he's this year's DK Metcalf in terms of where DK Metcalf was being drafted last year. You know the talent's there. You assume the offense is going to be bad. Mike Evans, same thing. You know the talent's there for Mike Evans, but you question the quarterback play. And it's paying off for you because Baker's getting the ball to him. He's winning on deep routes, something that we didn't like. Baker excelled on short. We always thought his game was short throws, get the ball out quick, but no, he's throwing the ball downfield to Mike Evans, and it's paying off for Mike Evans fantasy managers. Tight end. Did you know it was National Tight End Day? That's all I have for that. Flex. In a game where the Ravens put up 38 points, Gus Edwards was the leading receiver. I will stand. I repeat, I will stand by my sell your Ravens pass catcher take. Gus Edwards had 1 catch. He was the leading receiver on the team in a game where they won by 38 points. So sell Zay Flowers. Sell Mark. You might get something really good for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, or Travis Kelce. You probably can't get that done, but if you can, you have to try. And last one, super flex, is Tua only good against bad teams. Now, I wrote this last night, and I kind of saw some stuff on Twitter today. Down a whole bunch of old linemen. Waddle missing plays. Achane is out. And yeah, so maybe it's just more of like a yellow light. We're still learning, so we'll see. But drop your comments in the chat. What do you need from Monday night football? Who do you need to perform to win your fantasy matchup? I was sweating a guillotine league yesterday, and I was nothing like sweating a guillotine, a good guillotine league sweat for I had AJ Brown, so it didn't even matter because AJ Brown's the best. Anyways, let's dive into the first takeaway. Takeaway number 1 is go and trade for some Arizona Cardinals. Go and trade for them. And you might think, like, why would I go trade for Arizona Cardinals? They suck. They're actually not that bad. It's gotten very under noticed just how good Jonathan Gannon and OC Drew Penzick have been in their first year in Arizona. This offense is currently 15th in yards per game, 20th in points per game. Compare that to last season where they were 22nd in yards per game and 21st in points per game with much better talent. Like, they're doing more with less down in Arizona. They're making Josh Dobbs look like he could stick around in this league for a while. Kind of like Teddy Bridgewater. Like, that's what he kind of feels like. He's giving you some really solid numbers. Some like, he's not going to be a star that wins you a Super Bowl or gets you to the playoffs, but he's giving you some really good spot starts. Even in fantasy, he's giving you some really good spot starts. So, and like last year they had Kyler for most of the season, DeAndre Hopkins, James Conner, Hollywood Brown, offensive guru Cliff Kingsbury. And this offense is doing better than the one last year. So I'm a believer. I don't care. Send all your Jonathan Gannon memes. Put them on Twitter. He's rallying the boys. He's rallying the boys despite what that one video might say of him that everyone was clowning him for. Drew Penzick, great play calling out of the boy. Great play calling. I was going to say, when James Conner played this season, he has 2 100-yard and touchdown games. So 2 games where he's had 100 yards and a touchdown. He has only played 3 games. This Cardinals offense is 6th in rushing yards per game. Like, they're doing things that we did not think they were going to do, which is why I kind of always like to sneaky, like buy some teams that like buy some offenses that people think they're going to suck, because the Cardinals were one of those teams where everyone was avoiding them, and now they're proving that they're giving you some really good fantasy performances out of guys like Marquise Brown, Michael Wilson, James Conner. They may not all come in like back-to-back weeks, but they got nice performances here and there. Michael Wilson, 2 touchdowns here and there. Marquise Brown, 100 yards and a touchdown here and there. So I like it. I'm a fan. And what I'm telling you to buy is when Kyler Murray comes back, this offense is going to reach even more heights. We love, like I said, all the credit in the world to Josh Dobbs, but he's not Kyler Murray. He's not the passer. He's not the playmaker. He can't fill Kyler Murray's shoes, metaphorically speaking. And it's just like Kyler Murray is the better player. He's the future of this franchise. So, and people forget, like, might I remind you, in the 6 games that Marquise Brown and Kyler Murray played together last season, Brown averaged 10 targets, 7 catches, 80 yards, and caught 3 touchdowns. He was the wide receiver 8 for the first 6 weeks of the season last year. The wide receiver 8. And Kyler Murray, QB8 in average points per game before he went down. Like, do I have to say more? Put him in with this offensive, like, play calling unit that people like they are going to give you numbers better than what Josh Dobbs is giving you right now, and it's going to be tremendous. Now, Kyler Murray might not run around the same coming off the ACL as he was in years past, but that arm is still there. He still has a great arm. He's still a top tier quarterback in this league. They're paying him like it, at least. I would take Kyler Murray over guys like Daniel Jones. I'll take him over Geno Smith. And any of those guys, like Kyler Murray is getting so much crap over the past year, and I'm not here for it. I'm a Kyler defender. Let the man play his video games. Tyreek Hill streams every night. No one bats an eye. Kyler Murray hasn't done it in a year, and they want to get on him. So, you know what? And now, no, I'm going to leave it be. We're going to leave it there. And Harry Snowman tonight. Harry Snowman is right. Like button, please. Hit the like button right now. And on TT Toms, we're going to hit this real quick. You sent it at 2:17 p.m. I don't even know if you're in here. But if you are, I'm down 12 in non-PPR. Play it safe and start McCaffrey and Mitchell, or stick with CMC and Osborne. Mitchell, not down 12 in non-PPR. Play it safe. I would definitely go. Ooh, yeah. I would go CMC and Osborne. I like and we'll get to Osborne later in the show. We got some Osborne talk for all of you later. But right back to the Cardinals, just really quick to wrap this one up. Get these Cardinal players while their price is still dirt cheap. You can probably get Hollywood Brown for someone like Rashee Rice, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, James Conner, Michael Wilson. You might be able to get in throw-ins in other deals. Maybe not James Conner. I don't know when his timetable is to actually come back, but James Conner is a great guy you can get stashed on your team, especially if you have a really good record. You're like 5-2, 6-1. Go stash James Conner. Get him from a team that probably is hurting with him in their IR slot right now. And as Jordan Belfort would say, baby, your fantasy team is 5-2 and you're desperate for some playmakers for the playoff push. Good. Pick up the phone and start calling. Kind of like that one. Wolf of Wall Street shout out for those who have seen it. Who hasn't seen it? Anyways, takeaway number 2. You may have saw the TikTok. It's on the Twitter for the player profiler page. Go check it out. But just like Deion Sanders, these guys are coming. I got some players I want to break. It's pretty much just a buy now segment. Wanted to rebrand it. You know, Deion Sanders a very people are looking up Deion Sanders a lot. So maybe YouTube will hear me say Deion Sanders, and this video will get 200K likes and views. So we'll see. But the first guy I got is Josh Downs. Over the past 3 games, Downs is averaging 5.5 catches, 81 yards, and has caught 2 touchdowns. You can get this guy to throw in redraft trades for sure, and dynasty trades if you can get him for like a second round pick, mid to late. If you can get Josh Downs for a mid second round pick, you have to do that 9 times out of 10. Especially his value is only going to go up. He's seeing the ball a lot more with Gardner Minshew under center. Gardner Minshew a little bit more pass happy than Anthony Richardson is. So I love Josh Downs. Love him in dynasty. He's an okay player in redraft. Depending who your other players are, how many people you have to start each week, I still like Josh Downs. So Josh Downs, go buy him, scoop him up. Next guy, my guy, Dalton Kincaid, 8 targets, 8 catches, 75 yards against the Patriots. Believe in the talent. This was the first tight end drafted for a reason in the 2023 NFL draft. And he is a buy in dynasty, especially until further notice. We're going to put that out there. And if you saw Theo Greminger's tweet over on his Twitter, I think at the OG Fantasy, Dawson Knox is out. Who's the Bills head coach? Sean McDermott. They said it's too early to say how much time he will miss. He's getting surgery on his wrist. Not great. I think he's been plagued by wrist injuries, hasn't he, Dawson Knox? But doesn't matter. Dawson Knox is out. This is hallelujah for Dalton Kincaid truthers like myself. So great for Dalton Kincaid. Go buy Dalton Kincaid. Redraft, dynasty, doesn't matter. He's not going to cost too much. I don't even think he has a touchdown yet this season. Yep. Kincaid will be boom or bust, but all tight ends are in that range. And like how many tight ends are getting 8 targets, 8 catches, 75 yards? Like not a lot of them. I don't even think Kyle Pitts has 8 catches in a game this season. He had that one good game. I can't remember which one that was, but like Dalton Kincaid is like he's pretty much Kyle Pitts right now. Like the way he just doesn't have as much hype. He wasn't taken 4th overall, but it's kind of what he feels like. So, and that's coming from a huge Falcons fan. So, I didn't want to talk about Bijan in this video. We cover the stuff that nobody else talks about. Bijan's getting covered everywhere else. We got to stick to our niches and what we like. So next player I got, JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. He has more receiving yards in his last 2 games than he did in his first 4 combined. He also had his first career touchdown in week 7. Sneaky buy low in redraft. This is a guy whose role could expand as the season goes along. I think we've already seen it expand from week 1 to where we are now in week 7. And if you're in dynasty, he was the first receiver drafted in the 2023 NFL draft. It's kind of like the Dalton Kincaid argument. Believe in the talent, believe in what we saw pre-draft. We're only 7 weeks into the season. If you can trade Zay Flowers straight up in dynasty for JSN, go do it. I'm doing it. I would definitely do it. So that's my JSN take. Last guy I got for you guys is Jahan Dotson. This is a dynasty focused take. He's 23 years old. He had a really solid rookie season. Touchdown upside was there, and he just hasn't. He's been a victim of bad luck. A couple drops too definitely have not helped this case, but he's had 5+ targets in 5 of the 6 games he's played in the season. But you wouldn't know it based on the final box scores because he's just been a disappearing act all season. I just truly believe that he's going to break out at some point. He cannot be this bad for this long. If you can trade a guy like Tutu Atwell for Jahan Dotson, Tutu Atwell, he's had a couple nice games. He's coming off a touchdown week. Trade him straight up for Jahan Dotson and thank me later. Because Tutu Atwell, he's like we see what he's doing right now, but he's not keeping that up. He's gonna be like Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson was great 2 years ago. What did they do? They traded him for a 7th round pick swap. So Tutu Atwell's not here to stay. Jahan Dotson might be here to stay. That's how I look at it. Before we dive in, take number 3. Let's answer some questions. Drop your questions in the chat. Like I said, hey man, trade Amari Cooper and Deontay Johnson for CeeDee Lamb. I still have Ayuk, Adams, Thielen, and Kirk. Amari Cooper and Deontay Johnson for CeeDee. Oh my God! If you can trade Amari Cooper and Deontay Johnson for CeeDee Lamb, you got to do it. I mean, then you would have Lamb, Ayuk, Adams, Thielen, and Kirk. Oh, smash button, smash accept. If that trade is sitting in your inbox right now, smash accept that trade. That is a great trade for you. I saw something today that not Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson might go on the IR, maybe, but I also saw Stefanski say that he's going to play next week. So conflicting reports. I don't know. And it was from like ML Football rookie notifications. Those accounts on Twitter that like we made fun of them on Dynasty Roundtable a couple weeks or like a couple months ago, where it's like they'll do what's the last one they did where I'd made a meme about it where it's like people are saying that Tyquan Thornton is going to have 2,000 yards. Like the sophomore Baylor receiver is set for a big year with the eye popping emoji. If you don't know what account I'm talking about, you just don't know. But yeah, that's kind of what that tweet felt like. Where am I? Yeah, okay. Let's just dive into takeaway. Takeaway number 3. And the last takeaway we have before we dive into our locks, we'll dive into our betting record. I'm really excited for that. I spent a ton of time researching today. Spent a ton of time researching last week too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But takeaway number 3, we may finally have a wide receiver 1 on the Chiefs. If you've been around on the channel, you've watched these live streams for a little bit, you've heard me talk about how we don't have a wide receiver 1 on the Chiefs. The wide receiver 1 is Kelsey. Everybody else, it can't be started. Well, there's a guy on the Chiefs, a rookie receiver that is flirting with some of my starting lineups in across all my leagues. His name is Rashee Rice. Definitely the number 2 option on this receiving option on this team right now behind Kelsey. Rashee Rice has 75 yards receiving or a touchdown in each of his last 3 games. And I acknowledge they haven't been monster games. He hasn't had any 2 touchdown games or 100 yards and a touchdown, nothing like that. But he's had some really promising games. He's actually had double-digit PPR points in 4 of his 6 games this season. Like, that's going to play, especially if you're in a deep league where you have to start a lot of players. That's great. You love to see that. And I don't think, like, he's still a rookie. He's still going to progress over the course of the season. So, and Andy Reid said it. He said, quote, he's been getting better every week. I think you guys see that. He's explosive and strong after the catch. That's why he's getting better every week. That's why he's seeing a little bit more opportunity every week. And ESPN's Jeremy Fowler also reported, I think, last week after the Denver game where he had 75 yards, Rice's profile could continue to grow and that he's building chemistry and earning trust with Patrick Mahomes. So that's obviously great. You love to see that. And some people I think are going to, like, just to play devil advocate against myself here, people are going to think of Sky Moore. We heard this coach speak with Sky Moore in the offseason, but that was in the offseason. Sky Moore never has had the production in his career. Last year, this year, doesn't matter. Never had the production that Rashee Rice is having right now in his first 7 games of the season. We heard the reports in training camp. Sky Moore is going to be the alpha on this to lead these receivers. Kadarius Toney, all these guys. No, it was Rashee Rice. Mahomes is telling us this. Reed's telling us this. Jeremy Fowler is telling us this, and the box scores are telling us this as well. So go get Rashee Rice in Dynasty. Go get him in redraft too. Like I said, if you're starting a lot of different spots, you want to build some bench depth, Rashee Rice is a perfect guy to get on your squad. And it's not, like I said, not going to cost a lot for you. Just to bring back Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell for Rashee Rice straight up. I'm getting Rashee Rice. Maybe Tutu Atwell and Antonio Gibson. Give me Rashee Rice. So that's all I got for the takeaways. And now it's time for Monday Night Football bets, betting preview, betting guide, whatever you want to call it. And we'll just answer this right off the bat since I don't have it in any of my bets. Who do you think is going to win tonight? I think the Vikings will cover +7. That's not one of my bets, so that's not going on our official record. Don't quote me. I think the Vikings will cover +7. I think the Niners got to win tonight. I know they don't have Trent Williams, they don't have Debo, but this it's weird because I feel like the Vikings truly play to their competition. They keep it close with the Chargers. They keep it close with the Chiefs. They keep it close with the Bears. Not great. They keep it kind of close with the Panthers. Not great. They play to their competition. They were in that Eagles game for a while as well. So they can't get out of their own way. We already know a historic number of fumbles, giveaways, stuff like that. So backdoor cover. No, I think they keep this game close. This game's gonna be a lot closer than people realize. I live in Minnesota. Like I said, not a Vikings fan, so don't think that's skewing my mind at all. But I feel like the Vikings are backdoor cover. I feel like the Vikings are they're good. Like they're a solid team. I think they've just been really, really unlucky. Like last year, absurdly lucky, crazy record, get beat by the Giants at home. This year, absurdly unlucky, keep games close with the Bears, lose to Baker Mayfield in the opening game of the season. It's just it's 2 different teams. It's the same team, 2 different outcomes. So, we got some betting stats. This is you trying to take my job, Harry? You trying to take my job? Well, off our record last week, you might as well have it because we went 1, 2-1 last week. The only bet we hit was Micah Parsons over sacks, over half a sack. That catch like 2 minutes left in the fourth. Tony Pollard attempts was close. QJ didn't have a single freaking catch. I should have known to bet on QJ on a player profiler live stream when Matt Kelly is the almighty in terms of Quentin Johnson hate. I am now a Quentin Johnson hater as well. And yeah, so our record comes to 6-5-2. We are 6-5-2 on the season, but man, I'll tell you, I love a lot of these bets I have tonight. I have 4 for you, 4 locks, 4 bets I'm going to put on our official record. And the first one is Jordan Addison over 4.5 receptions. Minnesota is third in passing attempts per game with 39 in the entire league. But in the games where they played good rushing defenses, and the Niners are a great rushing defense, Kirk Cousins averages 45 attempts per game. 45 attempts is crazy. 45, that's a lot of attempts. We just need 5 of those attempts to go to Jordan Addison and him catch the ball. That doesn't seem like that seems pretty doable. And if you look at the box score, it doesn't feel like a great bet. Addison's only had 5+ catches in 2 games this season. And but obviously no Justin Jefferson is going to help us. Plus San Francisco has allowed the 4th least receptions to tight ends this season. I don't know if you knew this, but Jordan Addison doesn't play tight end. That's Hawkinson. So I'm staying away from any sort of Hawkinson prop. I don't want to bet on him. Don't necessarily want to bet against him either because he's TJ Hawkinson. Definitely not explosive though. Like he might just get the receptions. Definitely not betting on TJ Hawkinson yards. But my point is maybe some of those targets, those passing attempts go to Addison rather than TJ Hawkinson because the coverage on Hawkinson is just so good. We got to reroute those targets, receptions over to Addison. So over Jordan over 4.5. Jesus Christ, can't talk today. Over 4.5 receptions for Jordan Addison. Book it. Next one, probably one of my favorite bets of the week. KJ Osborne over 39.5 receiving yards. He's had 49 and 48 receiving yards in the last 2 games. You could probably make the case he's wide receiver 1 on this team. Just considering like Jordan Addison, like, is he the wide receiver 1? He should be. He was a 1st-round draft pick. No, you're not a big Osborne guy, Harry? Not a big Osborne guy? Not Osborne. No, we're betting on Osborne. Osborne is going to hit this, and let me sell you on it. I'm going to make a believer out of you. Go play, and all these bets courtesy of Underdog Fantasy. And honestly, the Keenan Allen under receptions we had last week was actually a great bet because if you bet that on any other site, we would have lost, but it pushed because Underdog Fantasy has the best lines in the game. Quick plug. KJ Osborne over 39.5 receiving yards. He flirted with this line too. Even when JJ was playing, even when Jefferson was playing, he's had games of 31, 34, 36. I get it's not 39.5. He had some drops earlier in the year too. He definitely would have smashed this line. So, like I said, he's going to hit this line. And against Tampa, like I said, I'm going to bring it back to the rushing defenses. They're throwing a lot when they're playing good rushing defenses. So in the games against Tampa, Philly, and Kansas City, KJ Osborne is averaging 7 targets. If he can't get to 40 yards on 7 targets, that's not on us. That's a great process play. If he gets 7 targets and doesn't have 40 yards, that's out of my hands. I'm betting on him getting 40 yards and 7 targets. So I feel like it's a great process play. He's flirted with this line all year. We've seen him boom. We've seen him boom on him throughout the year. KJ Osborne over 39.5 receiving yards. Book it. Harry, I don't care what you say. KJ Osborne is going to have 39.5 receiving yards. DM me on Twitter. We can talk about it. I'm going to DM you on Twitter. I don't even think I have your Twitter, but I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it and DM you when he hits it. Praying on our downfall. All right. Next one. Like I said, these are all locks. This is my favorite prop that I'm about to give. I think that I've had the entire year. This is, if you're betting units, this is 2 units. This is 3 units. I could not believe when I saw this prop. Thanks. Hey, if you want to go follow Harry on Twitter, right there. I'm going to be in your DMs, Harry. Trust me. I'm going to be in your DMs on the first drive when Osborne has a 45-yard bomb on a post corner route. So I'm just telling you right now. All right. And there's not a text version of this graphic. I wish. Or of like the picks. No, I don't. I'll put it in the chat though. I'll put it in the chat at the end. So you guys can have it. All right. Here we go. my favorite player prop the entirety of the show's existence. Here we go. Alexander Mattison under 68.5 rushing and receiving yards against top tier defenses, which again I am labeling as top tier rushing defenses. I am labeling as Tampa, Philly, and Kansas City. Madison has averaged 9 carries. Again, 9 carries per game, and he has averaged 42.7 total yards. 26 less yards than his prop today. 26. That's a big gap. He had 44 versus Tampa, 38 versus Philly, and 46 versus Kansas City. That is a huge gap. A huge gap. Alexander Mattison under 68.5 rushing yards. And oh yeah, San Francisco just happens to allow the second least total yards to running backs in the NFL. That feels pretty safe. I don't know about you guys. That feels pretty safe. Alexander Mattison under 68.5 rushing yards and receiving yards. 68 rushing and receiving. Book it. Book it. Take it to the bank. Take the slip. Print it out. Hand it to. Put your house on. Okay, I can't say that. Don't put your house on it. We bet responsibly. Bet responsibly. And the last one I got for you guys. Take number 4. CMC over rushing yards, 65.5. That's pretty crazy. 65 is a crazy number. Like CMC, I get Williams out, CMC oblique injury, probably not 100%, but he's good enough to be playing, and that's good enough for me. He came back in the game last year. Came back in the game last week. Very promising sign for CMC. And Minnesota has actually allowed the least amount of receiving yards to running backs this season. This is a crazy stat. Minnesota's allowed the least amount of receiving yards to running backs this season. Just 92 total yards in 6 games they've allowed to running backs. So just 15.3 per game average. You know why? You know why that is? Because good teams know they can run the ball on Minnesota. For example, think back to week 2. Some of you may have watched this game. Thursday Night Football. Minnesota's playing in Philadelphia in week 2. DeAndre Swift getting the start. He's known for his receiving, at least for the Lions. He's known for his receiving prowess. That's how the Lions use him. Kind of like how they're using Jahmyr Gibbs. That's neither here nor there. Swift, he's not known as like a pure runner. He's not known as a Derrick Henry or a Breece Hall or guys like that. He's known for his receiving. He can sprinkle in some nice runs for you as well. DeAndre Swift had 175 rushing yards against Minnesota in week 2. Just 3 receiving yards. 3. Seems they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball against Minnesota. I'm going to say it again. They're going to run the ball. 65.5 rushing yards is a crazy number. I thought it would be 80 or 90. Maybe they're really factoring in Williams and CMC being hurt. I don't care. CMC's playing. Shanahan's coaching. Works for me. CMC over 65.5 rushing yards. Oh, and I forgot. Minnesota allows 112 rushing yards per game as well. 14th most, so very middle of the pack. And here's the running backs, the starting running backs that they have played. Rachaad White, bad. Not good at running the ball. Bad player. DeAndre Swift, smoked for 175 rushing yards. Joshua Kelly, 12 rushing yards against Minnesota. He's a bad player. Miles Sanders. I don't even have to say he's a bad player. Terrible. Shouldn't even be on a team. Pacheco, 55 rushing yards. Chiefs are throwing all over him. Deonta Foreman, 65 rushing yards. And that's Deonta Foreman. And don't give me did you see Deonta Foreman this week? He only had 80 rushing yards. He just had 3 touchdowns, which is why he had so many points. He didn't go for even over 100 yesterday. Deonta Foreman I like Deonta Foreman. He's a great story. If you don't know about his story, check it out. It's a really good feel-good story. But he's not the runner, nowhere near the player that Christian McCaffrey is. Christian McCaffrey over 65.5 rushing yards. Those 4 picks is what I got. I also want to throw in some kind of bonus picks. Danielle Hunter over half a sack. He leads the league in sacks, and Trent Williams is out. Seems like a fair matchup to me. That's all the research I did. So that's why I'm not putting it in my side on my picks that count. But that I just thought that felt nice. Over half a sack, leads the league in sacks. Williams is out. Seems like a good matchup. And the last 2, these 2 I have money on tonight. Just some props that I liked. And again, Harry, I'm sorry to do it to you. KJ Osborne to score the first touchdown, and Minnesota wins is plus 25.20, $10 to win $250. Juwan Jennings to score the first touchdown, and San Francisco wins plus 2,700. Those are two bets that I like. If you can get them, I don't know where you get your bets. Should get them on Underdog Fantasy because they have the best lines out there, especially for player props. There's also forgot to mention this, a free LeBron James square in there, over half a point. There's one for Kirk Cousins tonight, over half total yards, and over Brock Purdy, over half total yards. So Harry, this is a perfect scenario for you. You don't like the Osborne pick? Good. You don't have to do it. Do Madison, Addison, and CMC. Hit all of those picks and do the LeBron James half a point or the Kirk Cousins over half a yard. You don't even have to bet. You don't have to bet Osborne, and you can still get paid. So that's you like Kittle? See, I like Kittle too, but like I said, Minnesota actually plays tight ends pretty good. I forgot. I was looking at it. I didn't write it down, but they actually play tight ends pretty good. I do like Kittle more, obviously Debo being out. So Debo is out. Exactly. Debo is out. I got to get better at clicking the comments. So what happens when Debo is out? Ayuk's going to eat. That's what happens when Debo is out. All right, guys. I had a lot of fun with you. Also, too, I know if you were around last week, I got the okay to crack a beer on stream. So here's what we're going to do. If we go positive 3-1, I'm going to have a beer on stream with you guys. Be drinking along because I know all of you are having a nice cold one, but I'm going to have my cover over it. No free sponsorships on this program. First Don, who saw the first Don meme of the tweet. Sorry. I got you, Daniel. Here, we're going to do this. Addison. Maybe I should just do this after the show. You know what? I'm not going to. You're going to watch me do it, and it's going to be great TV. Addison, over 4.5 receptions. Well, I can just copy paste. That's what I'm going to do. You're going to watch me do it every single time. You're going to watch me do it. You're going to watch me do it. You're going to watch me do it. I'm going live on Twitter if all four of these hit. I'm going live on Twitter. And Harry's going to come live with me after Osborne has 80 receiving yards today. Boom. Look at that. Look how fast that was. All right. Hope all of you have a great night. This is a great Monday Night Football game. I'm watching the Manning cast. You should too. They got Aaron Rodgers going on there tonight. Forgot who the other two were. All I care was Aaron Rodgers. But hope everyone has a great, fantastic night. Let's make week 8 of fantasy football the best one yet. Go get yourself some Josh Downs and Seth Dewald. Nobody cares about Christian Watson. Oh. I just spoiled it.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.